How to make crib rail covers. If you're a parent worried about your toddler chewing on the crib rails, you're in the right place. Making your own crib rail covers is a simple and cost-effective solution that can protect both your crib and your child. First, let's talk about why you might want to make these covers. Crib rail covers prevent your toddler from chewing on the wooden rails, which can be harmful and also keep the crib looking new. Now let's get into the details. Materials needed. You'll need a few basic materials to get started. The most common material used is fleece, which is soft, easy to work with, and machine washable. You'll also need a measuring tape, scissors, and if you choose to sew, a sewing machine and some pins. Measuring your crib. Start by measuring the length and width of your crib rails. Use a measuring tape to determine the exact dimensions of the front and sides of your crib. Make sure to measure around each rail and add about 8 inches to account for the ties that will hold the cover in place. Cutting the fleece. Once you have your measurements, cut the fleece to the required length and width. For a no-sew option, cut 4-inch long slits along the length of the fleece, spaced evenly apart to match the vertical railings of your crib. If you're using a sewing method, you'll cut 2 pieces of fabric to the desired size, leaving a bit of extra fabric for seams. Tying or sewing the cover. For the no-sew method, drape the fleece over the crib rail and tie the cut strips together in the spaces between the railings. Make sure to tie every other strip to secure the cover. If you prefer to sew, place the 2 layers of fabric right sides together and sew along the edges, leaving small gaps for ties if you still want a tie option. Adding ties, no-sew method. If you're not sewing, you'll need to tie the layers of fabric together and then tie the cover to the crib. Start at one end and tie the strips together, working your way down the rail. Make sure the ties are secure and evenly spaced. Sewing the cover, sew method. If you're sewing, you'll place the 2 layers of fabric right sides together and sew along the edges. You can add ties or snaps to secure the cover to the crib. For a reversible cover, you can add batting or fusible fleece between the layers for extra padding. Washing and finishing. Before putting the cover on the crib, it's a good idea to wash it to remove any fuzzy bits from cutting. This will also help prevent the fleece from piling. Wash the cover in cold water on a delicate cycle and dry it on low heat. Final steps. Finally, tie the cover to the crib, making sure it's evenly positioned and securely tied. For the no-sew method, go around the vertical slats if necessary to tie the cover in place. For the sew method, simply snap or tie the cover to the crib using the added fasteners. Making your own crib rail covers is a straightforward and budget-friendly way to protect your crib and your child. With just a few simple steps, you can have a clean, safe, and stylish solution that fits perfectly with your nursery decor.